It was starting with a miser who is basically like Chandidasa. So he was living a life of a miser. So he even did not really conduct any sadhu sangha in his home, Harinam Sankirtan or anything, because he was afraid that he might have to really spend some money for that. Of course, nothing comes free. So this is actually a children's story. So, you all must have probably heard about it. A miser worked very hard for so many years and bought gold coins. Buried all the gold coins, he buried all of them in his backyard garden. Every night he would go at middle of the night, dig to see if the gold coins are still there. He was doing so this for about 25 years. One night, a thief apparently watched, what was he doing, and then he saw that, there is something buried here. And without him knowing, he really just stole it. Next night, the miser found all the gold coins gone. He was crying bitterly, beating on his chest. A passerby came and asked and heard what happened. Then he said, okay, cool down. For 25 years, you didn't really use it. And you are not going to use apparel anyway until you really die. So why are you really anyway worried about this? So he said, don't cry. Okay. So what you do is, you do one thing. You take a big stone, whatever the big size you want, put the thing in the same hole, whatever the place that you really buried, and every night you come and then see whether if it is there or not, and then check every day. That's what that's what you should do. Because what was the use of that that piece of stone, right? You are not going to use it anyway, and right, because of that probably some problem will happen. In fact, that happened. That's what Chandidasa's family, and that's what happened. See, so that means a miserly family is really very, very miserable. Okay, so now anyway, so what is the moral from the story is, see, also remember. So he did not even invite Vaishnavas for Harinama because it would cost money to really host. So lesson is, don't be miserly, don't earn more than necessary. Vaishnavas not coming to home is not a good sign for the family, especially for the children. No good character for the children can develop, because see, most of the children, especially these days, in the modern world, they will never listen to the parents. They need somebody to really advise them. So you have to have an association with sadhus. Vaishnavas should really come to your home often, and that way the children will really admire them, and then they will be induced to be actually good and and also become devotees. So now because of the money, even close relatives can become enemy. That we see. In fact, many cases, just because of the money only, relatives actually get broken. And when we do, can we really take anything with us? Absolutely nothing, not even a paisa that we can take with us. And today, whatever that is that we have as mine, right? And then tomorrow it will be at the hands of someone else. Because this world, we never want. We never want. It's not our place at all. But people, a miser especially, has a completely ulta logic. That's the problem. Alright, so we were actually seeing the different status of the jivas. Okay, this is something that you guys already know it. I'm just refreshing from the chapter 7 point of view. A jiva will be in two status, free or under Maya. Who is this Maya? The Maya is also called Chaya Sakti, because it is actually one of with the energy of Krishna. Okay, so Chaya means shadow energy. Durga Devi is a shadow only. She is not real. It's a shadow energy of Lord, who is a shadow of what? He is another energy called, right? You have Mahamaya, that is the Durga, and you have Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is the original. She is in the spiritual world, and the reflect and the shadow is Durga Devi. Okay, so under Maya, she is also called Maya Devi. Because she is a jailer. So now basically, like those jivas which are free, they are called mukta jivas. Okay, and not free, that means because they really got under the Maya, are called baddha jivas. So these are the ones, they will be under the influence of the three gunas, sattva guna, rajasi guna and tamo guna. Alright? So they are subjected to these three modes of material nature. Okay? So those are all the ones which are living in this material world. Now if we see the mukta jivas, that can be divided into two cases. Nitya mukta, that means they have never seen the material worlds at all. Because there when they really came up with the belly of Mahavishnu in the Tadasa Sakti, when they came, they looked upwards towards Krishna, and because of that, they really straight away went to serve Krishna, and they are called Nitya Muktas. They never seen the material worlds, and they don't even have to see that at all. They are eternally very, very happy, always serving Krishna. Alright? Now, who is Anitya Mukta? Anitya Mukta means those jivas, they were Bhatta jivas before. But because of the Bhakta Sangha, the association of Bhaktas or the Acharyas and saintly people, that Krishna constantly, he says, sent into the material world so that to really bring these Bhakta jivas back to him, and some work out, right? They really, listen, and eventually they become Bhaktas, and they really return back to Krishna. Okay, that's what we are hoping for, right? So they fell under the Maya before, but now return back to Krishna. So will they really come back again? Will not, right? They may be in Goloka or Vrindavana or the Madhura, all the spiritual worlds, and then also Vaikunta. They are all what? Actually Anitya Mukta. Okay, they were not Muktas in their Nitya form. Nitya means what? Permanently. They were not from the beginning they were not. They really fell down, and then after that, because of the Bhakta Sangha, they all got back again. Okay, so this is how, now in nutshell you will be able to understand. Okay, now also we are talking about the false ego of the Bhatta Jivas, right? False ego, there are two things, two components, it's not two kinds. Or maybe kinds are components. So it's all false ego. Why false ego? What is the true ego? True ego, because every jiva has ego. That's Annavadam. Ego is there. But true ego means, yes, I am the servant of the Lord. See that? See, Hanuman, for example, he's really so happy that he's so proud. Yes, I am the servant of Lord Ram. Look at my heart. He'll open the heart, and then you see, Lord Ram and Sita Devi, they all will be, they are there. So that is the ahankar. See, that kind of ego is true ego. Why? Because that is permanent. Yes, serving to Krishna, that ahankar is called true ego. Okay, that's why. Now, what is false ego? False ego is the one which, when a jiva falls down and become a Bhatta jiva, then he will develop these two things, ahankar and mamata. Ahankar is also called ahanda, right? Ahanda. That's the name that I described this here. It's nothing but ahankar. There are several. Root word is aham. Okay, that is the root Sanskrit word is aham. Okay, I am a man. I am an animal. I am a father. I am a husband. I am happy. I am poor. I am this. I am that. They're all ahankar. Okay, or ahanda. Right? Then the other one is mamata. Mamata means mine, my house, my children, my color, my property, my work, my this. Now, all the things are all the mine things. They are mamata. So these, if you see that, none of these ahankar or the mamata are real. Because in one birth I am a man, next birth I will be a woman, and another birth I will be an animal. So this is not really something that is true at all. It is false. So that is why it comes under the false ego. Okay, the same way my house, like what happened? Actually, it's not even your house. Bank owns your house, right? My children. Okay, this birth they are your children. Last birth, where were you? Who knows? You might be the child of your own children who is coming now. See, this is all totally. This is what the truth that we have to really understand. Okay, so these ahankar, mine, mamata is basically the aspect of the Bhatta jivas, which are basically called false ego. Okay, so I hope that you really understood that. Now also there was again touching base again with the same logic that we really covered before was Krishna is compared to a sun, And jivas are compared to the rays coming from the sun. How many rays are, how many they are like the photons. How many photons are there coming from the sun? Innumerable. Unbelievably so large. We have no count of it. That many jivas are there. That is why you have to see. Then you can see how great that original sun, Krishna, is. Just, mind-boggling. But people are saying, I am God, you are God, I am Krishna, you are this. All kinds of nonsense they are talking about. It is just like a small ant, small insect is trying to understand our laptop computer inside. How can it understand? That may even understand. We cannot understand about Krishna. Right? Now the fall of Jiva. Okay, so that is also related here now. So we all know that how we really got into the Maya, clutches of Maya, is because Krishna Bhuli says Jiva Anadir Bahirmukha Atayeva Maya Tare. So what we did was we did Bahirmukha. We turned our face up, like away from Krishna, because those Jivas who really became Bhatta Jivas, they had aversion to serve Krishna. And it had to be corrected, because suppose a child doesn't really have a good character when they are growing up, we have to teach him, right? He has to learn the lesson. There is no way. He has to learn the lesson. He cannot escape. So this is all the material worlds are nothing but there are schools. We really, all the Bhatta Jivas are actually getting born here to really get the education, to understand that he actually belongs to Krishna, and his original true ego is he is a servant of the Lord. That is why the whole material worlds are actually getting created. Okay, that's what the Maya Devi is actually running. So Maya Devi is a jailer. Durga Devi, who is a shadow energy of the Lord, is what? She is a jailer. She really runs this. Right? Atayeva. So because Anadir Bahirmukha, because we really turned away from the Lord, Atayeva, therefore Maya Tare, Maya caught you. And she bound and put you in the samsara dukkha. Because how one learn? Do you think that without any difficulty one will be able to learn the lesson? No, it's hard. You cry sometime, I don't want to go to school. No, this is very hard, very hard. Dukkha. The same way, we have to go through all the sufferings. If the suffering is not coming, we are not going to learn. We think that we are actually living happy here, all of a sudden something collapses. Then you realize, oh my God, I put so many things in here. I planned so much, this and that. Everything is all gone. This is how she will make you to learn. This is the only purpose of this material world where Bhatta Jivas are coming. But you may ask, why there are so many of them? Where so many of them? Of course, if you compare remember the sun and the photon, how many photons that you can imagine? In fact, 99% of those jivas created by Krishna. And not created means what? There is no time, there is no kala. It's basically part and parcel of of Krishna. They are there in the spiritual world. Only few left. Few really turned away. And they are the one who are really put in this prison, in this world. Okay? So Maya gives him miseries in the form of material existence. Okay? Because what happened was, the freedom of the jiva, because that, the Lord will never impose. Because every jiva when created, it has freedom. The one consequence, a byproduct of freedom is consciousness. The nature of the jiva is consciousness, and the byproduct of the jiva who has consciousness is freedom. Otherwise, it's not conscious. So, but the freedom, he will say that you exercise. Okay? Why? Because the natural, this thing is loving relation. Krishna and us, a jiva, the original teaching it has to be the loving relation. But love is not something that you can dictate. It has to come by freedom of the jiva. That's why he left that as it is, and you decide. He is not going to interfere at all. You want to enjoy this world, he is not going to really bother you at all. You run by your own karma, whatever good things you do, so you are actually going under the law of the karma that he created. That's what is going to happen. But that eventually is what? That is a miseries. You will understand that. Because remember yesterday also we are talking about, right? See, our own body and mind is going to give problem. Others are going to give problem to you. And all the hurricane, earthquake, this and that, all those are also going to heat, cold, this, everything. They are all going to be miseries only. Because your body and mind itself is actually make probably 80% of your problems. Especially when you become older and older. Okay? So, this world is samsara dukkha. Samsara, what is samsara? You are born again and again and again and again. There is no ending at all. Because you really start with some karma, then you add more karma, then that brings some results, then you do something again to counteract and then keep on going, and finally now it is in a mess that even millions of births we really take, we cannot even get rid of in our karma, even if you don't do any more karma, just to take the we have to take the results. It's called prarabdha karma. The karma has several these things. Okay, I am not going to get into that one. All right. There is a very interesting, this is actually from the Prema Vivarta, which I started reading now. Okay, so actually I am getting a book also now, and in fact it's in the PDF also. So in fact, I love to read with you, but the thing is I don't want to really keep on, like bothering you a lot. See, the Prema Vivarta is amazing. It's a treasure. It was written by Jagadananda, who is none other than the incarnation of Satyabhama. Satyabhama herself really came. Because all the gopis and gopas and everybody all came along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, who is none other than Krishna and Radharani combined. So, anyway, this is actually coming from, nice, he really put so many, but unfortunately, the way the book we read was, it was going stanza by stanza, as explained, rather than everything one shot and then going through. So, that's the problem. Okay, so what it's saying is, Pisashi paile jena madichena haya, maya krasta jibhera haya che bhava udaya. What does this means? You all must have heard, Okay, see, we take for example, I am here in this world. What were I me? What were I am I before? Before I was born, where were I? Right? How many birth and death I have really gone through, but I don't remember anything. And even what is my Nitya Dharma, all the scriptures are talking about, but I don't see that. Why it all really just like that hidden? Why I have forgotten everything about my previous lives? Why do I need not feel my Nitya Dharma? What happened? That is what this is clearly saying, that one. Because, you must have heard about possessing, possessed by ghosts. Remember? Because in India, you can see many, because, they really deal with all kinds of things, and I have even personally gone into this one, because of a mother and all the things because that is why I really completely came to this Gaudiya line. Okay, so there is a lot of reason behind. Okay, because I have even seen the ghost. Okay, now Pisachi. So when a ghost is really possessing somebody, what happens? The intelligence, basically the mind, intelligence, false ego, and all the things that are there in the subtle body is completely gone. Gone means it is just dissolved temporarily. Okay, it goes somewhere. And the mind and then the false ego, intelligence of the Pisas, who is the ghost, that enters in. So basically you have, your body is what? Gross body, inside is the subtle body, which is actually the mind, intelligence and false ego. So that's what we actually, we are actually the subtle body, because gross body is gone. When it dies, then subtle body goes away and then gets birth in somewhere else. So now what happens when the ghost really possesses, that the mind in the intelligent and then the false ego of the original body is put away, temporarily hidden. Okay, this is the spiritual phenomenon. Okay, phenomenon. We cannot probably easily understand that one. So then the ghost really puts its own subtle body inside the body and becomes, then after that what? It starts jumping, turning the heads like this and all kinds of things, that it is really trying to exploit the body because it wants to do something on the body. We have seen Exorcist, all they're all real. Yes, even though in the movies and all the things, you cannot really take anything there because that is artificial. But the thing is, it is there. Okay, so that is exactly what this Prema Vivarta says that. Pisashi payile jena madichana khaya maya krasta jivera khaya che pava udaya. Yes, so it is basically how when a ghost is really possessing a body, everything about that original the owner of the body is really completely forgotten. It's gone. The same way, when we turn our face away from the Lord to come to this material world to enjoy this world, that ghost catches you. That ghost is called Maya. You understand now? So this is why the reason now we are in that ghost. Actually, we are not in our Nitya Swabhava. No, we are not in the Nitya Swabhava. That is why Bhakta Sangha is going to really make you feel that, hey, you are actually you are in the ghost. Who is the ghost? Maya. The Maya is actually running you by the three modes of the material nature and then making you to be born in so many species in this world. And you are all wandering from one Brahmanda to another Brahmanda, one universe to another universe, and keep on going and taking so many births. This is happening. But then, all of a sudden, by chance, by your luck, Bhakta, the association with the Bhakta happens. Look at here, this is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is a Jagat Guru. Look at his dress. Look at his dress, how dirty it is. And this is what he really wore to really take a photo. For taking a photo, we will put all kinds of things, good this and that, this, all the, my hair is not good, correct here, and then put some nice lipstick and that, everything. No, look at, he is a real Bhakta. He is Jagat Guru. Because of him only all the Krishna consciousness came to this entire world. Look at his dress. This is Bhakta. So this kind of Bhakta's association happens. Because they are all realized, they do not belong to this world at all. They all belong to Krishna. Krishna has really instructed them to really come down and then rescue some jiva. That is why they came here. And so like that, a jiva happened to really get association with the Guru, with the Vaishnava. And then he is really going to slowly, going to change the life. And he will then, the Pishacha will go away. Okay, that Pishacha will actually go away. And unless one really does this Vaishnava, Sangha, we cannot really do anything. It's not possible. That is why the Chaitanya Charitamrita or all the scriptures say you have to do only two things. Because this world is not yours. You are in that ghost. You are ghost. So we have to drive the ghost away and take back your original Swabhava, which is actually Krishna devotee. Okay, so Sadhu Sanghe Krishna Nama Yehi Matra Chayi Samsara Jinite Ara Kona Vastu Nahi. You have to have only two things? Sadhu Sangha, that means association with the pure devotee, not any devotee, not like Ganapati Bhakta or Sai Baba Bhakta, forget it. Sadhu Sanghe, his Sadhu means Krishna Bhaktas. Only they are the pure, they are actually called even Bhaktas. Others are not Bhaktas. Okay, Sanghe, Krishna Nama. How Krishna Nama? Why it is coming second? Because only those Sadhu can actually give you the Krishna Nama. They are the only one who will actually help you to really chant the Nama right. So, these are the only two things you need in this life. Why? Because you got a life. And you have to, and you should have a goal. That goal is to really get back to your original Swabhava, which is Krishna Dasa. And for that, these are the only two things you need to do. Other than that, Kona Vastu Nai. There is nothing else. There is nothing else in this world that is important at all. And only Krishna has the power to pull. Okay, this is another thing. People think that, no problem. At the time of death, I will tell Krishna's name. You cannot do it. You simply cannot do it. Because the Maya Sakti. Okay, people, because I have, I've been asked by, like our own devotee saying, Oh, how can I control my senses? I have so many desires. I want to eat here. I want to do this, and I am under the Maya. See, at least they are feeling that one. How can I control my senses? The answer is very simple. You cannot. You cannot really, really win Maya. You cannot do a war with Maya, because Maya is one of the energies of the Lord. How can you really have, how much power you have to really fight, fight against Maya? It's not possible. So that is why he said, Devi hiyesha gunamayi mama maya durataya mam eva ye prapatyante maya mayam etam tarandite. He says, my divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material matter called Maya. Okay, what are those? Sattva guna, Rajasa guna and Tamasa guna. They are very difficult, extremely difficult to overcome. It's just not possible. But how can I do that? You hold my lotus feet. You hold my lotus feet. Then she won't really bother you anymore. So what is the answer? What is the answer to control the senses? Catch hold of Krishna. But can you catch hold of Krishna? I am not seeing even. And even a small spurti comes, I declare to the entire world that I have seen Krishna. That is not Krishna. Krishna, if you have seen, your body will be finished there, right there at that moment. Finished. You won't exist anymore. This is the power of Krishna. Okay? And now, how will you do that? See, that's what it is. So you have to, again, same thing. What? Vaishnava Seva. Vaishnava Seva, Vaishnava Seva. If you do Vaishnava Seva, you will be always in touch with Krishna's topic. That is what will make you to win your own senses. So the sense control comes by catching his lotus feet, Krishna's lotus feet. But to catch his lotus feet, you catch the feet of the Vaishnava. That's it. And serve him, you will be fine. In this world, that kind of pure bhaktas are very rare. Because you have jivas, all kinds of forms are there, jivas, so many, I told you, so many. You just go and dig the mud outside, you will see so many worms and this and that, every bacteria are there all the way, completely. Look at here, all the forms are there. Out of that, getting a human birth is very rare. And out of the humans, become a dharmi, doing social work and all kinds of nonsense, they are also extreme, they are also rare. Right? Yesterday I really covered the thing there. How bad is one is doing a social work. Okay, social workers are not recommended in Gaudiya line at all. It is against. It's not. Right? People really go away with saying, I want to save, I want to help that guy, I want to help this guy, that, this, everything. No, that is not in our line. You take care of yourself first. You take care of, you have your own duty. You have to take care of your own father and mother. You have to really make sure that you will actually get back to Krishna. And this is like finding fault with somebody else and trying to fix it. It's not possible. Today you will actually feed for the hungry. Tomorrow who is going to feed for that? Okay, we just covered all all those yesterday. Then of the dharmis, some really want to be what? To get moksha. They are called mumukshus. Mumukshus means though really who do all the moksha. I want moksha. When I will do this brata, that brata for the sake of getting moksha. Then some get mukta, very rare. They get mukta. And of all the muktas if you take, hardly anyone is a Narayana Bhakta. Okay, that again we really covered before. I think the previous Harikatha we really covered something on that one. And of all the Narayana Bhaktas, if you really take, you hardly, Durlabha, Eke Krishna Bhakta. This is how that kind of bhaktas are the only one we are talking about here. Not just because, I also like Krishna. Yeah, I know Bhagavad Gita. I know this one. Couple of slokas here and they see that they got Krishna. And they even declare that they are the Krishna Bhakta. Okay, this is a nature. Okay, so with that, I will conclude